Hi, welcome to part 3 of my tutorial screencast series on integrating a Rails app with QuickBooks Online version 3 API. And I stopped off on part 2 where we created a vendor not only in our Rails app, but we sent it over to QuickBooks Online, and that worked successfully. So now we want to edit the vendor. So we're going to click edit here, and actually before we actually edit, we got to put the code that will respond to it. Here was the code we put in for the create. Remember, this is not best practice stuff. This is not what you do in your real app. I'm trying to get through the screencast and give you a basic idea in the shortest amount of time possible. So let's go down to the update. Oops, what did I do there? Okay. The update action in the vendor's controller. And let's... Oh, I am not Vimming good today. Okay. I'm cutting some, pasting some code there. And this will be the code that we use to update the vendor in QuickBooks Online. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to this vendor service instance variable that is created in our before action, and you can see that it is initializing on the update action. So let's go back and let's talk about, so vendor service, there's a query method that comes off of the vendor service. If there is no parameters passed to it, it will grab all of the vendors. Then there's a method entries, which will give us an array of the vendors. From there, we're going to use the find enumerable method in Ruby. We're going to just use the given name, and we're going to match that with the parameters that are sent in the post request. And this is pretty much the way you're going to want to do it in your real code too. It's not going to be stuck here in the controller, but since QuickBooks has a unique, you have to have your, whether it's an employee, a customer, or a vendor, you have to have a unique name. So you can key off of that and be sure to get back what you're looking for. So from there, we're going to grab, in this case, Tristan. We'll set his email address and we'll update it again using the vendor service. And this is a good introduction, but if you're going to want to dive in more on what's going on in the QuickBooks Ruby service object, again, I refer you back to the GitHub. There's a service directory here. Check it out. There's a base service, which I believe the query's in, the query method. URL for query, fetch collection. Well, anyway, you get the idea. This is where you want to go to get more detailed information if you have to do, again, a real world project. So let's jump back into the code, make sure we're saved here, and let's do it here. Let's change the address. Why don't we call it multi.com? So mini@multi.com. Click update, and we're waiting. Okay, the update was successful again on the Rails side. Let's double check and verify by going over to QBO itself. Let's refresh this vendors list. And you know what, let's go to the company activity log again and see if the, okay, we got an edited vendor. This is right after the added vendor, so looking good so far. Let's take a detailed look. And there we have it. Good. So we do have the update in. We have mini@multi.com. So that update did go through successfully. So you're pretty dangerous now, but let me show you one more technique in that, which I use a lot in when I write production code in some of my consulting projects, and that is the logging feature of the QuickBooks Ruby. First of all, I am not sure if we have it installed. Okay, I'm going to close out, and to look at the documentation of the exact gem you're looking at, you can use not bundle edit but bundle open. We're going to open up the gem here in the Vim editor. I'm going to check to see that logging is installed, but you can see you can use this for documentation. Also, there's the model. We were looking at that in the browser, but let me check out the base service. I'm going to look at logging is not installed in this version, so I'm going to go back out to the gem file. Let's go grab the URL so we can install right from Git. And we'll rebundle. That's going to take just a little bit of time, and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, and I'm back. The bundle is complete. So let's take a look on how we do logging. And I'm just going to open up my Vim session we were just at there. So let's say we wanted to check out exactly what's going on, like the XML that's being sent, the XML that's coming back from Intuit. What we want to do is set the logger. In Rails, this is what you'd want to do. You may, if you're doing testing, you may want to leave the logger the way it is, but if for this example we can assign the logger to the Rails logger, and we need to turn the log on, which is true. Okay, let's save, and let's try to do yet another edit and then go check out our development log to see what we see there. Okay, let's just change this again. We'll do mini@multis.com. Get that request to go through, and it does. Let's go back and let's check out the development log. And we're going to go up here. Let's just search for, okay, so here we are where we have new request. This is part of the QuickBooks Ruby Gem logging, and we're going to see the post, exactly what goes into the body of that post. We have the response. We got a 200, and we got the response back, exactly how it's coming in the XML. And this is really vital when you're doing your real-world project. You really need to look at the log when you're having problems, having errors. This is what you need to turn on. So now you are pretty dangerous. This gives you the basic tools to get started, and I'm going to end the 3-part series. I may do a 4th part and a 5th part, but this certainly covers the main fundamentals of getting you started with your Rails app, talking to QuickBooks Online. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.